Hey guys, welcome back. Today I thought I would do a quick flip through of the first 4 traveler's notebooks that I filled up this year. At the start of 2020, I decided to challenge myself to fill a little traveler's notebook every month. These are just notebooks that I've made myself, so they're not chock full of pages. I think most of them have like 7 or 8 spreads in them, so it didn't feel like a massive undertaking, but I really wanted to have kind of a year-long project that I could work towards, and this is the first 4 months of this challenge. I've got to say, I've really loved doing it. I love having these 4 little notebooks. I pre-made all 12 notebooks at the start of the year, so I've got them sitting over here on my desk, so I've got no excuse when the new month rolls around not to start a notebook. There's nothing hard about it. I probably spent an hour or so making the notebooks all in one go, so now I've got absolutely no reason not to sit down and make a few pages every month. I'm going to show you January through April, which I have just finished. So I'll start, I'm just going to go in order. My notebooks are in kind of a random rainbow order. By the time I get to the end of the year, you'll see what I mean, but I really just picked out some scrap papers from my stash, and here is January. So I've started, most of them are stamped on the front inside cover. February not so much because I had extra pages, as you'll see, so I used the front cover as well. This was the very first page that I made in 2020. I made it with citrus twist kits. I've got a few full page photos. I really just love the simplicity of this one, and also like this kind of coral color seems to be a theme throughout the year. Now this page was kind of a challenge within a challenge. I challenged myself to use up some of these star stickers from Citrus Twist. I don't use stars a whole lot, so I had a bunch of these star stickers left over from all sorts of different puffy sticker sets from throughout the years, so I decided to use them all on one page. I created this kind of rainbow of them and then filled in the blank space with a photo of 3 of my favorite people. This was one of the pages, one of the first pages I did in my notebook over on my Patreon page. Probably most of the layouts in these notebooks either have a process video here on YouTube or over on Patreon, and this is one of them from January where I was trying to kill a kit. So not a kit, sorry, a collection. So I used a whole bunch of Dear Lizzie She's Magic stuff, and I did some stamping in here with some older Kelly stamps. This was another one on Patreon, a recipe challenge every month over there. I host a few challenges. This one happened to be, I think, a combination of a sketch challenge and a recipe challenge. I love the foiling in here. It really doesn't show on camera as much as it does in real life, but this page is very sparkly. Here's another little sketch challenge and a stamping challenge, again using Dear Lizzie. I was so happy to use up this collection because it is one of my favorites. So I had such a fun month putting together these spreads. Another page, this was using a citrus twist. The papers aren't quite 6 by 8, so these ones I trimmed down so there's a little white border, and I added a whole bunch of bright pink stitching onto this page. I love it. I usually use white, but the pink was just so pretty. And this was a really simple page that I put together using some little fabric scraps that my beautiful friend Alice sent me. Created this kind of ombre color scheme, and just it was the last page in my notebook, so I stitched that fabric down and added a picture of my favorite little roses. So that's what I mean. It was a simple little challenge to put together a notebook. So that was January. And then I really hit my stride in February. I was using a bunch more of the Dear Lizzie collection. This time I used up, that was the title, but this time I used up as many of these chipboard frames as I had left. So I only had 3. Kept this page super simple, but actually I love the kind of gridded layout. This is this was another one of my favorite collections from Citrus Twist this year, about all sorts of crafty things. We had a little craft session on our live stream every month over on Patreon, so I took a couple of pictures there. I love these ombre alphas. They are so good. I managed to use up 2 E's, but I'm trying not to hoard the rest of them. This was that same collection, but I used some little mini dies from Rosie Studios to create this kind of waterfall of buttons on, a lot of these are digital papers, and so just adding a little kind of die cuts and some sequins and stitching just helps those kind of digital pages feel a little bit more real. And I use that term really loosely, but it's my favorite kind of technique when working with printables. Another Citrus Twist page because, as Sarah Scrap says, I did some extreme crafting. I ran my sewing machine needle through my finger. It was not a fun time, but I did have fun putting this page together, including, again, a whole bunch of stitching on this page. So I stitched the background. It took a long time, but it really was worth it. I love the texture on the page. Back to She's Magic for another really simple page to use up all those kind of little scraps or branding strips. I didn't think I'd quite have enough, but I did manage to get a little rainbow of strips in there. This is my happy place. So again, I was using up a bunch of like leftover stickers and leftover sweet story papers. It was really just a kind of place to put all of those pieces down. One last page in here from, well actually no, there's another page in here. Another page from She's Magic. This time I used a whole bunch of like little tickets and folded papers. It's got such a nice texture. I don't know if you'll be able to kind of see it. It is quite a thick, chunky page. This was another challenge over on Patreon, a recipe challenge, and I love how that worked out. And then a very simple page to end using a few little scraps, and I even managed to get some wax seals in there. I love making wax seals. I never know how to use them, so this time I popped them into my notebook. And that is February. March, I managed to stamp on the inside here. This is another fun page using some Citrus Twist. I used the, I can't remember the name of the kit, sorry, and I did a whole bunch of repeat stamping. There hasn't been a whole lot of stamping in these notebooks so far, so I did an entire page to kind of make up for that fact. I created my own cut file, showed my patrons how to do that based off a mood board, and then filled all of the tiny gaps, but there was a sneaky little trick to that, so it didn't take me that long at all. Filling in cut files is like one of my least favorite jobs in crafting, so this was a really fun page to put together, finding a sneaky way to do that one. A different kind of, a little bit more kind of artsy page here, again based off a mood board challenge. The journaling and kind of title is on vellum, and so I had to find a way to kind of attach all of that. Under my photo was one way, but I also folded it, pulled off the backing paper. I had actually stuck it down and then pulled it off and managed to fold the vellum over the top to stick that down underneath. This was one of my like least favorite pages in these notebooks, but it's not about creating notebooks that I super love. I did manage to do a little bit more repeat stamping in the background of this one. It's about getting the pages done and dusted and not necessarily like loving all of the results. So it's not a page I feel like I'm gonna need to redo, but it's not my favorite either. This was definitely a fun one to do, incorporating I was going to say my new love for art journaling, but it's definitely not new. I've picked up the habit again in March of art journaling. I haven't art journaled for years and years, and I've just been having so much fun doing that. So I made sure I documented that in my notebooks and created a kind of fake art journal page to fill in my cut file with this one. This was a cut file from Paige Evans that I altered so that it fit into my notebook. I joined the Nellie and Clem team in March, so this was a fun page for Easter, creating a little digital hot cross bun paper. That's definitely a process here on YouTube if you want to know how to do that. And one little filler in page here, noting my favorite breakfast of choice. Kind of love these colors. I don't use blue a lot, but I love the blue and pink. I know it's only like a mild change from my usual teal and pink, but I really love that pretty light blue color. And my last notebook that I just finished from April, and you would have seen most of these spreads here on YouTube because I created a traveler's notebook kind of orientated scrap stash kit, and that's what I used throughout April, and I loved working with that. So most of these spreads have processes here. Certainly these three do. I love the gold washi tape. This was a process video from Patreon showing you how you can add clear page inserts into a notebook. This was one of the pages that I used that kit from that I don't necessarily mind the result, but man, it took me a really long time to get here. I didn't film it because it just took so long to sort of come together. Like, I like the end result, but I was really struggling with the 6x8 papers and not being able to fill an entire page with color. This one also had a process here on YouTube. I kind of love this shelf effect. It's so cute. Such a fun way to use up all those little stickers and die cuts. And my last page in this notebook was again just using up the scraps of that kit before I put everything back into my stash, broke down the kit. So I used as many of the like little scrappy pieces that I had left to kind of create this. It's kind of an ombre. I love the kind of rainbow from blue, pink through into neutral. I almost ran out at the top, so I added a little bit of pink in there. Some more of those gold puffy sticker hearts. And that is April done. So honestly, this is such a fun project. If you don't want to commit to 12 months, I highly encourage you to at least try a month. A month of a scrapbook layouts in a traveler's notebook is so quick, convenient, and very easy to store, so definitely my favorite way to document. Hey, thanks for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye!